Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for your mercy and your grace. We know during this unprecedented, difficult time, we ask that you give us guidance, give us wisdom about what to do for our community, for our people that live here, for our family, for our friends, and for each person that lives here in the area. We love you, Jesus, and we thank you for the opportunity to serve our city and our people. In your name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's already on the agenda. Okay, I'm going to go out of order just for a minute here and address council, the citizens here, and the citizens out there watching today. That to know that from the COVID-19 response, today has been eaten up with several meetings. I met with Chief of Police, Fire Department, our Health Department, and it's from a city standpoint, we are doing what we can. We don't have it here. It is several miles away for our nearest case. That everyone is doing what they feel is right. As tonight, I instructed our Chief of Police that we're going to go along with the Health Department in going with the CDC's guidelines for a 50 limit on grouping. And so I told him at 49 people, start turning them away. But it is not here, and the panic that's going on at all of our grocery stores, I don't remember it being this bad during the ice storm or any other time. Please be cautious. I was given a picture today of a family carrying out 15 cases of 5 dozen eggs. Eggs are going to go bad. And so there's a lot of people, I don't think I could eat 5 dozen eggs, before they would go bad, and I eat a lot of eggs. So it's Walmart's restocking the shelves, Country Mart, Dollar General, Family Dollar. They are all restocking their shelves as quickly as the orders can come in. I've talked with our local stores, even at Country Mart today, that due to the high volume and everything else, their truck for today was delayed. It'll be here tomorrow. And so there's only so much food you can put away and store up. And you remember it. We've got all of our standard and regular bills coming up April 1. So don't put other businesses in jeopardies and problems that we're having. The governor this morning said, please, to our public, please use some common sense in what you are doing. And as the mayor, that is what I'm asking our citizens to do. Please use some common sense on what you're doing. Share the food, share the toilet paper, share everything that is out there. There's only so much that you need. You've got your regular daily businesses. I've talked with medical doctors here in town, dentists, that they're all staying open. My office will be staying open for this week. And you've got spring break is coming up next week. People have travel plans, so they're still keeping those plans up. But it's we do have our prevention of loss that's already been in play for our committees have been working on. That it's not 100% has not been approved on our human resources side, but it will be shortly. Sea Light Gas and Water came out with a plan that they are implementing, and I sent that out to the council for look at what it is, and talking with Chief Spade today, most of that is already in our prevention and loss handbook already. Along those lines, we are, from a safety standpoint, on our employees. Our fire department does have gloves. These gloves and masks are for our firemen. Our fire department and police officers, it's for their safety. It's not to be handed out to the public. These are to keep them safe within the emergency calls that they do. If you've never been on that side of an EMS call or a fire department, you never know what you're walking into, whether it's blood, feces, or anything else. So you need those protections already. And so with looking at the guidelines from the CDC and everything else, be prepared. Soap, water, best thing you can use. Take your shower every day. Wash your hands. Whenever you go out, when you get back from being in the public, it's the first thing you do, wash your hands. You know, be prepared. If you are sick, stay home. You've got friends and family that will go to the store and grab you a gallon of milk, a loaf of bread, a pound of butter, and a dozen eggs, hopefully, if it's there. And if you are a high risk, we have one of our council members that is in the high risk category. You know, heart disease, lung disease, diabetes, older population. Those are the ones where you are in the high risk categories, and something like this, it does attack. For the average person out there, you're going to be sick for 3 or 4 days, and then you're going to get up and get over with it. But looking at the numbers, the fatality rate worldwide, what I was able to pull up this afternoon had a 4.4% fatality rate. Compared to other viruses and things that have come along, that's actually pretty low. There's some of them that have come around in the past that were very, very high. And so, but the biggest aspect whenever looking at groupings, going to church, you know, I went to the play this weekend, and you know, everything was good. It was a very good play. If you missed going and seeing the high school play, those kids put on a good show. And look forward to the ones coming up in the future. Our school system, as you've all, I'm sure, aware by now, is shut down until April, they go back to school April 6th. And they'll reevaluate at that point in time. So it's still, be cautious, take your time, be compassionate to your neighbors, you know, check on them. If you haven't seen them out and about in the yard or something like that, you know, go by and knock on the door, give them a phone call. For things that are going on up here at City Hall, the same precautions. If you feel sick, don't come up here and pick up a permit for something. Give us a call, send us an email. We'll see what we can do over the phone, by email, or anything else. The phone number up here, 888-9001. Give us a call, and we will do as much as we can over the phone. But again, just like the governor said this morning, please use some common sense and common courtesy and decency throughout the rest of your time. And so, on the news this morning, China had 1 new case as of today, with 1 new diagnosis. So they're already definitely on the downhill. It's already tomorrow there, so I think they're 14 hours, something like that, ahead of us. So this morning when they did the news, they said they had 1 new diagnosed case yesterday. So it's already on the downhill slope for there. And you know, here in the United States, I expect it to do the same thing. It'll run its course, just like all the other flus and viruses here. But you know, here in a little bit, we're going to have our health department be able to answer questions that any of our audience or council members may have. And I'm very tickled to death that they are here today and to give us the information that they have, you know, and what they've been in contact with, webinars and everything else. But it's we're working for our citizens, and we're trying our best. So, all right, we'll get on to our normal meeting. All right, in your packet, you should have had the minutes from the regular meeting on 3/3/2020.
Motion.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion approved. Committee and department reports. Chamber is not here tonight. Finance.
We did get our numbers in for the month of February. They are a little bit on the high side, anywhere from $90 to $12.90, with the exception of the use tax, which was down $10,795.
Wow.
We'll continue to monitor what's happening, what's going to happen in the next few months, and we'll make adjustments as necessary.
Can we clarify, for me, the use tax is for the online shopping?
Yes, that is correct.
This means everybody's shopping local.
It was $41,743 last year, and it's down to $30,947 same time this year.
Okay. All right. Fire.
As Paul's coming, we've been talking a lot about our new fire station. We haven't come up with one. He's working on some grants. We just gotta get this thing done as soon as we can. So, if anybody out there prays, we need your prayers.
As Councilmember Wayne just stated, did have a committee meeting earlier, just kind of go over a few things as far as our grant applicability. Help me out, folks.
I can't
Chief can't talk tonight. Been talking too much today. Long story short, we are looking at the different grants that are out there as far as what we can do to get the ball rolling on this station situation. Very limited tonight, emergency management wise. I laid before you a sheet. There have been a couple of council members kind of questioning me about how emergency management works within the city. So real briefly, what I presented to you is an organizational chart as far as who is in charge and how it works. And it's basically you all as a council and mayor are basically in charge of an emergency management incident. You are in charge. My job as fire chief slash emergency management director for the city is to keep you all informed as far as what's going on, as far as anything that we need to be concerned about as a city, and just give you an educated information as far as how you proceed in any event of a disaster. One of such as disasters is kind of what we're kind of going through the pandemic episode across the state. As Chancellor stated, we've been through several meetings. I myself have been through several today, even up to state level and regional personnel, and just to make sure that the emergency management side of things that we are prepared, in which at this point we very much are. Fire department activity, the fire department's still going to respond. We're not cutting back on any responses. Our personnel are trained, and currently at this time they do have the proper equipment, that we're not going to slow down our responses to any medical. Again, that is due to training and due to our supply of equipment. We have gotten access to additional equipment if needed in the way of gloves, gowns, face masks, and we will be taking advantage of that because that has been something offered from the state. So again, we're looking like we're in good shape with that. And again, we're not going to slow our response down as far as fire department responding to the emergency medical needs of our citizens out here. So, we do have some other things which we'll talk about our pandemic safety policy a little bit later on. Mayor's discretion. And anyone have any questions for me or anything? Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Human resources.
Nothing for the public at this time.
You may.
Nothing except for we need to close the meeting, and I think it's just going to go along with what we're doing.
Okay. All right. Police chief is outside right now at the moment, so let's skip over that and go to street.
Street, I'm going to, for the second time, I'm going to let Mr. Westerfield, I don't think we have a whole lot, but hopefully,
Can't have much, I didn't bring a paper.
Did we get those wires crossed?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
We don't, we're just, right now, we're still cleaning sidewalks, and we got a couple spots of concrete we're gonna be breaking if the weather holds out next week, but calling for rain tomorrow, and so weather's kinda got us to where we're just doing odd jobs here and there, and that's about all we've got unless y'all have any questions.
Sidewalks are looking good.
Sidewalks.
Thank you.
Storm.
I don't have anything for storm, but I did get confirmation today that the bypass is going to be worked on. I'm not allowed to say specifically what, but
North or south bypass?
The bypass. Yes.
North.
North or south?
Yeah.
I'm told both possible.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, anyway, the extent of it will be determined later, but we are gonna get some changes made in it.
Great. Okay, industrial.
Nothing at this time.
Okay. All right. We will come back to police if we need to. I do know we need a.
I don't have anything for the public under the police. I'm not for sure if Chief Wilson does or not.
I think they're
Close
busy. We're gonna need a closed meeting, I think it'll be.
Yeah, they've got a situation or. All right, we have, no unfinished business. Under new business, approval of fireworks contract for the July 4th.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is that a one-year contract?
Yes.
Chief, you got anything for?
Chief, you got anything for a report or we'll come back to you?
Basically, all I was gonna do is just update the public on the changes we're gonna do because of coronavirus. Can we do that?
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Basically, due to the coronavirus, we're gonna change the way we approach some of the way we do some things in the public. One of the major things is right now, if you have just a simple theft report, we're probably not gonna send an officer, we're just gonna take the report over the phone. We're just asking people to kind of be patient with that. Obviously, there'll be some calls we had no choice, we're gonna have to respond personally, and that's a given. Also, dispatch, we'll keep their doors closed, we'll limit access to the public coming up with dispatch, and just not allow anybody to come in contact with them. When the officer does respond to the house, we're gonna ask the complainant to come outside and talk to us. We will not be going to anybody's house unless it's just absolutely necessary. So if you do get a call from the public, wonder why we're doing things this way, it's not anything personal, just till this thing blows over.
Sure.
Kind of use a little bit of common sense stuff. We're also gonna do some other things just in-house for the officer's protection. Like the mayor said, we got plenty of gloves, hand sanitizer, you know, we're working on that. So we'll have plenty of that stuff. If we do transport somebody to jail, we'll probably just disinfect the car the best we can with the supplies we have for right now. We'll always be looking for more stuff. But other than that, that's just the major changes we're making right now, just for the officer's safety. That's basically all it is. Everything else I had is for closed session.
I'll elaborate on that hand sanitizer deal. I had a local business owner ask me if the city needed any hand sanitizer, and not marked up price, but just said, you know, if you need some, I can order it, and you have an outlet. So we ordered 150 bottles of 8-ounce foaming hand sanitizer bottles. So maybe they, you know, put one in each car, fire, whatever. So just
We have some on hand, but obviously probably not go through it.
yeah, hopefully we'll go through.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next we have, this was an ordinance that I was asking for, animal waste. You know, I was talking with Ms. Brenda earlier today, and I called it the Hooper Scooper ordinance that, you know, last year, and I've seen it in the past, that out in our city parks, especially this past year, working with Tawana's booth out at the concession stands out there. It's great seeing, you know, people bring their dogs out and everything, but there was a gentleman, and several of us were sitting at a table and talking, and the gentleman brought his dog by, and when he walked off, the dog, you know, relieved himself right there in the middle, and it wasn't, you know, it was less than 2 minutes, and the kid comes running by, soccer cleats on and everything else, and steps right smack dab in the middle of it. I know personally, I don't walk in my backyard without shoes on, because I've got a dog back here. Now, I do get aggravated if I walk in my front yard and I step in the middle of something barefooted. But, you know, so this has been around in a lot of other towns. And so if you're out walking your dog on, you know, if you're supposed to have them on a leash already, we brought it up to, it's like, take a trash bag with you. You know, or a paper sack, or not a paper sack, a plastic bag, you know, collect what your dog leaves behind in other people's yards, especially in the city park, because you've got kids out there playing, they're kicking the balls around, they're sliding into, bases, and so the last thing they want to do is have dog poop all up down one side of them. So this would give our police department, our ordinances a little oomph to, pick up after your pet.
I have a question.
Yes.
About, well, what you've done, but does it, the way I read it, it was also on personal property you have to clean?
Personal property not owned or lawfully occupied by the person.
So if you're walking your dog and your dog goes in my yard, you've got to pick it up.
Yeah, but if it goes in your yard, you're in your own yard.
Yeah.
That was gonna be my only thing. I mean, sure, it's not for everybody to pick it up in their yard, but,
So what's the fine for this?
Up to $500.
So, yeah.
I mean, that's the fine for any city ordinance violation.
So please pick up after your pet. If you're out walking, walk them. Just have you a lot of the leashes nowadays have a little compartment that have little bags on there, so just pull one out, pick it up, and.
Your dog's smaller than mine. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hey, you shop at Walmart, Dollar General, they got some pretty good sized bags.
The Bulldogs, that's not gonna work.
Put her back over the street department.
Yeah.
So,
Keep
that's
it
where
in your own
it
yard.
But they stay
Yeah.
there. They stay there.
Yeah.
Okay, first reading, an ordinance requiring the owner, keeper, or handler of any animal to promptly remove and dispose of all feces left by such animal on any public property and or private property in the city of Kennett. Again, the private property is not owned by, that you don't own yourself or lawfully occupied.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Second reading, an ordinance requiring the owner, keeper, or handler of any animal to promptly remove and dispose of all feces left by such animal on any public property and or private property in the city of Kennett.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Yes.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
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 All in favor? Motion carries. All right.
Can I ask one question? Do you want this handled through the PD with a citation? Is that how you want it done?
Yep.
No.
So, all right.
I can't wait to see this one.
I see our humane officer is very happy with this ordinance. All right. So next in your packet was a statement of revenues for city expenditures.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. We have the city abstracts next.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Approval of city bank balances.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right. Within the mayor's report, I've pretty much already given that, is to please use common sense. But I'd like to turn this portion over to our health department to make any statement or answer any questions that anyone here may have. And Ms. Tammy?
Good evening, guys and gals. I'm Tammy Gibson. Most of you know who I am, and with my experience in public health and home health, I am a health department board member. We are currently working with our employees of the health department. I have two people here with me, Kim Hughes. She is our interim director right now. We do not have a director of the health department, so Kim is filling that role for us. She's involved very, very much. And Stephanie Patterson, and she is our community health educator. And what the board is doing is that we are working very closely with those employees in the health department so that we can come up with an action plan so that we can share that with the city. We are also going to be developing some public education materials because right now the virus itself, the fear is the virus because there is a lot of fear. There's a lot of questions. We don't know all the answers. We are following the CDC guidelines as far as trying to develop some policies and procedures and protocols for different businesses. They've had a lot of phone calls this week from different people that are concerned, that have questions. And we're going to try to give them some resources to get those questions answered, give them some materials, and direct them where they need to go. We are going to be setting up a point of contact in the health department so that they will have one person, because right now it's kind of like, well, do they talk to this one or this one or this one? Because we're starting, it's kind of surprised us as it has y'all. So we will have a point of contact that they can call that person. So if anyone calls in, that person will answer their questions. So they're getting consistent information. And we'll be meeting with all of the staff here in the next few days to kind of catch them up on everything that we're doing also. Do y'all have any questions for me? Kim, I know is going to speak for a few minutes.
Testing wise, are you guys going to get any kits whatsoever?
Right at this point, I'm not sure. I'm going to have Kim address that. Yes, ma'am.
Do you know how long the virus lives, like on the surface?
There's no really proof as to how long it does live because it is unknown at this point. All viruses, after a length of time, and they do their studies, they can determine that. What we are suggesting is that every day, within 24 hours, every day, clean all surfaces. Using a disinfectant or bleach or whatever that you normally use. That's what the CDC guidelines are at the current time.
This may be a question that nobody really has an answer to before, and it may be common sense. I just don't know, but 14-day quarantine, is that just like a normal life of a virus inside of a body?
When someone is exposed to the virus, it's called a 14-day incubation period.
Okay.
It's the period of time in which I can develop symptoms if I've been in contact with someone.
So if you don't have them by day 14, you're probably good to go.
Probably good to go.
That's where that comes from.
But if you do start having symptoms, then that's when you need to really be prudent as far as staying at home, not getting out. I did bring some handouts tonight if anybody wants any as far as what people in their homes can do. If there's someone in their home that is ill that they're caring for, there are precautions to take. The purpose right now of everyone trying to stay home, that's important because that's how you spread the virus. You're going to see a lot of statistics in the next 3 weeks, and they sound kind of scary a little bit, but realize we just started testing for this.
Sure.
So you're going to hear those percentages and you're going to think, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Well, this virus has probably been here for a little while. I've had several people say, I think I may have had that a few months ago because I was swabbed for the flu, but I didn't have the flu. And so that's another reason that panic is kind of here because it's like, oh, we have this one and this one and this one. Well, they're actually testing now for it. That's why you're going to see those numbers go up and those percentages. So that's our purpose in the health department is to give them education, give them a point of contact, and work with the city and other businesses or anyone that needs anything that we can help them with.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? All right, I'm going to have Kim say a few words.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Hello.
As far as the clinical aspect of this, we have senior EPIs that we're in contact every hour, seems like. As far as testing, the health department has given 2 tests. There was 1,000 for the state. Each health department has 2. Now, that sounds like, that's not even, but that's just through the health department free. Now, LabCorp Quest, they're testing, and there's no criteria for that. Our criteria, we have to be as stringent as we can because of the funding. So each health department's given 2 test kits, which we have, and we've had it for about a week. And the physicians, we've reached out and told them if you have a need and you don't want to use your personal lab, you can, there's a patient under investigation form they have to fill out, the provider does. Then they have to call into the state, get approval. There has to be enough yeses on the form. They have to fit criteria, and then they notify us and we release the test kit. That hasn't happened yet. Most of the physicians are using their own testing. I know our Shad's doing it at Hayti. I think Dr. McPherson's office is going to be doing it in the next few days. I have to say that for sure, but they're looking into doing testing. I had Campbell call today, Dana Cooper, and they send their testing through Piggott Hospital. So a lot of the doctors are, the people are testing more. Dr. Randall Williams is over the Department of Health, and he is a physician, and he has been very instrumental in keeping us updated. And basically, like Tammy said, we're doing CDC guidelines, and that's what we should do. We're trying to do the common sense thing, like she said, but when people call, and they are calling, starts at 8:01 and ends at 4:30 when we close the door. But it really spans out a lot greater than what you think. You think of people being sick. A lot of people want the test, like they're coming in the health department with a mask on wanting to be tested, and they might not even be sick, but it's the fear. So like she said, we're beefing up our education. But we see this, take away COVID. We deal with this every day in the public health. TB, y'all have no idea. Our county's on the high chart of TBs, and you don't even realize it. Singing in the choir, going to Walmart, you got people coughing on you. I mean, people die from TB still. I mean, we've got all these things that we deal with daily, the STDs. We're dealing with syphilis. It's not gonorrhea and chlamydia anymore, So this is something that we're used to dealing with. Yes, this is a pandemic new virus. So it's a whole different world, but this is what we do. So it's on a different scale, and it's gotten to be big, but we are reaching out, and we're part of anything we can be on to do what we can do.
Chief.
I'm sorry.
You're needed outside.
Oh.
You're needed outside. I'm sorry, ma'am.
Oh, no, you scared me. I thought somebody was, damn, I think you see me more. I was like, whoa.
Too much information.
I know. Okay, I'll shut up. Y'all got a long night.
No, you're fine.
Anyway, we're doing what we can do, and we're staying in contact with all the health departments. I got a call at 5:30 from the senior EPI. The governor's wanting information, phone numbers. So, and another thing about testing that people don't understand about, you would think that local public health would be one of the last people to know, like if there's a positive. No, we're the first. This has been going on for 25 years that I've been there. We usually, when we get a result, like state lab, this is mandated reporting, okay? There's 2 pages of mandated diseases. And when we get a report, we have to call the physician's office because I don't want to call the patient and start discussing things and filling out my forms, because a lot of times we know before the physician knows. Labs will be shut down if they don't report to us. So the reporting is good, it's solid, they know they'll be shut down. So we're usually the frontline people, when there's a communicable disease. So we're even being called if there's anybody in our county being tested. So I've gotten calls on who's being tested even, and then we get the report. So just to feel rest assured that we are getting calls and they're in connection, and there's a good communication. And not that too much information sometimes, but just to know that, because you may think, oh, they may be 3 days to hear. No, we're the first one. If there's ever a salmonella or any kind of community outbreak, we know probably before the physician knows.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Question about the cost. Do you know what the cost is at Quest?
I have heard, somebody called Quest or I'm heard $400, but I heard our shop was in for $79, and I really hate to say that, but we're on the free side of it. So, and I did hear, I guess it was on Facebook, that if anybody had trouble paying, that he would work with them. Now, I just read that as a public.
Yes. That's something else we will be doing, is gathering the physician's information that will be providing the tests free of charge.
Because people are calling.
Minimal cost.
And, and you have to think about this too. It's not only just what we're dealing with and talking in this room. It's so much more. If you think about funeral homes, I'm getting calls from funeral homes. You think about it. You have a large gathering, people are hugging, shaking hands. They're looking for guidance. And you pretty much have to just say, gosh, guys, these are CDC guidelines, and this is what we do. And then you have to go to your local board. Nutrition centers, oh my gosh, can you imagine? Yeah. Malden, City of Malden, the mayor's calling us. And jail, I'm in contact with Bob, and Ashley the nurse. So we're all in this, and we don't know it all, but we have a lot of experts that help us if we don't know an answer, and we know how to make phone calls.
Good deal.
Do you have any questions?
No. I think you do a good job.
Oh, good. It's not always fun work. This is what we're for. So.
Thank you, ma'am.
Do we have anybody else in the public who'd like to speak? So, just a just a recap. You know, we're asking everyone to use some common sense. Take a breath, step back for a second, and then see what your next step needs to be. If you don't feel good, stay home. Wash your hands, clean your house, disinfect, everything else. Our kids are going to be at home for the next 2.5 weeks, so you've got lots of little hands to help you do the cleaning. Put them to work, teach them how to work on the house. So, but again, if you need something from City Hall, 888-9001. Now give us a call, send us an email, and we'll get back with you as soon as we can. But please, take a breath, take a step back, use common sense, and this will, like anything else, it'll run its course, and we'll all be in good shape when it comes out in the end. So, all right, we'll adjourn for when the motion go into closed session.
Motion.
All in favor?
No.